ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरन्दस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप तदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं सागरजातं सहगणा रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवम् साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादा सहगणा ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वित नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादे पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे नमो महावदन्याय कृष्णप्रेम प्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्णचैतन्य नामने गौरत्विषे नमः। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिन्धु दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कान्त राधा कान्त नमोऽस्तुते। तप्त काञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे। हरे कृष्ण। So I seek your blessings and speak today's little tough topic. This echo, if you can remove. Hare Krishna. So before we go ahead with a discussion on today's topic, that is learning to say good in others or avoiding fault finding, we'll just complete our pending discussion on yesterday's theme of learning from the life of His Grace Jayananda Prabhu. So test of any theory is in its implementation. Test of any theoretical knowledge stands in its implementation. Because one may have a lot of theory, but if it is not practical, then what is the use of that? The same way, in bhakti also, we have a lot of theoretical understanding, but it will carry a lot of value only when we see that it is practically applicable. So we can go on, spending a lot of time in analyzing the process of bhakti, but faith will immediately come when we get to see the implementation of that theory in life of someone. Correct? No? If you see, oh, it is actually happening, it is actually applicable in life of someone, then that gives us a lot of faith. Now, scriptures do describe about many personalities who have lived by the principles of bhakti and perfected their life, like Narad Muni or Dhruva Maharaj, so many personalities. But one problem with that is, that was in the previous ages. So is it really applicable today, Prabhu? That is a question devotees ask. ठीक है, no, it was a Satya Yuga, it was Treta Yuga, people were very nice, they had such nice opportunities, everything was very good. That's why they could live by all those most you know, uh, exalted principles of bhakti. But when we get to see some example which is just in the current modern world, 21st century, then that gives us a lot of faith. Correct, no? That is one of the reason we discuss about the uh, Vartaman Acharyas also, the present Acharyas, or the devotees who have exemplified the principles of bhakti in their life and shown us what is the path of perfection. So that is one of the reason we discuss about His Grace Jayanand Guru. So yesterday, just quickly revise, we saw how he was a very intelligent, very handsome, very good person from the beginning. He was also very well educated. He became engineer from Ohio State University, but somehow he was not feeling very much connected to the upper class society. And that's how he ended up becoming driver, and he was getting into serious depression. He was because he was not getting answers for the problems of life, the questions, deep questions about life. He was like a seeker, and finally, he came to know about the program being given by Srila Prabhupada in San Francisco. He attended that. In very short time, he became very much attracted to Prabhupada, and Prabhupada also liked him very much. And every day he would attend morning program, like all of you are attending. And they would, Prabhupada would cook many times personally. He would take a lot of care of Jayanand Prabhu. He got initiated very soon. And very quickly, he immersed himself in the practice of bhakti, especially services. So we saw his schedule, how he would wake up early in the morning, do his cooking, chanting, reading, distributing incense sticks throughout the day, and taking up so many responsibilities in very short time. We also discussed how he was not aware how to chant one round. So he was chanting 32 rounds, counting them as 16 rounds. And every syllable he would be chanting with deep absorption. Every syllable he wanted to personally, lovingly associate. And his his faith in holy name was very very high. No matter how much tired he is after the whole day services, he would jump into the kirtans in the evening, and as far as possible he would be continuously doing kirtans around him. And did I tell he always preferred kirtans over debates? Discuss, because debates only generally make people's heart very hard, but he was feeling what is the use of this. It's better to have kirtan, and that way people will become favorable. He was also very very humble. He never wanted any popularity. In fact, he want always absorbed himself in glorifying other devotees, treated even his juniors as his seniors, and he was always able to find something praiseworthy in the other devotees. Then we saw how he was always busy with very simple services like cleaning the trash can area, or washing vessels, cooking for devotees. Uh, and we discussed about that boy who had come to temple, and he said that if the garbage cleaner is so happy in your temple, hmm, what about other devotees? And how will be the president of the temple? But is not aware he was only the president. We're always seeing good in others. So the topic we are going to discuss is very much connected to Jayananda's life. We saw how this envious man was throwing hot fish boiled, foul smelling water on the road, and he was thanking them. He was seeing good in them also. Oh, thank you for cleaning the road for devotees to do Harinam. And by giving prasadam, he would transforming all these kind of people also. And we also saw how he was very careful about not misusing Prabhupada's Lakshmi, how he had to steal one day that pant, and how he would go out for distributing, this incense sticks, but even if it is very cold winters, he would not spend money in getting into hotel. He would sleep on the benches on the park, and okay, he was the last one to sleep, first one to wake up, and doing double services than others, like that. Very eager to do food for life in the night, no matter how tired he is. We saw how later he became a driver in Radha Damodar bus party. He was assisting even the devotees who are half of his age. And we also saw how he had some special abilities, like Krishna gifted mystic powers. I discussed about how that nail had entered very deep into his foot, but still 3 days at a stretch he did not sleep, just to make the Rath Yatra procession very successful. And even after that, he was jumping and dancing in Kirtan. And this was a very usual thing because every year he had to organize Rath Yatra. Almost when it would come close to Rath Yatra, he would sleep less than 3 hours in a week, in a day, less than 3 hours in a day. And after doing that whole day, he was the most enthusiastic devotee. ऐसा नहीं है कि वो रात को सोया नहीं था तो whole day he's like morose and giving curses to devotees and quickly becoming angry. No, because a great service attitude. His dealings were also very loving, very kind. So, so whichever services he took up, he actually flourished that particular department. And just to make others feel very comfortable, he would tell about his problems to them, which never existed. So, very much willing to cook prasadam even for people who are mentally retarded or drunkards and this kind of people. And he was willing to wear those not so good looking pants just to benefit the donor. And how his eagerness to benefit people, he would stop his van on the way whenever he would see apple tree and offer the whole apple tree, so that whoever will take this apple, he will get Mahaprasad of the Lord. And he would eat double quantity whenever he would fall sick, so that the bacteria and the parasites in his body would also get benefited. Obviously, please don't imitate all this. Huh? These are only for hearing and getting inspired, and we should appreciate Jayanand Prabhu. By appreciating him, we will make advancement, not by imitating him. But yes, we can learn the principle and apply in our life as much as possible. So, okay, and we also saw how he he was very dear to not only devotees but even outside people. They would say he is the nicest and most pure person we have ever seen. And if he is practicing Krishna consciousness, oh, Krishna consciousness must be the best process. And how that lady police officer who would give a lot of tough time to devotees, even she started crying when she had heard about passing away of Jayanand Prabhu. So he was very expert in engaging everyone uh, in Krishna's service. And the team of devotees he would get for service was not very well trained, expert. But because he had this habit of learning to see good in others, he could even engage all this you know, mentally retarded people or homeless people, drunkards, fanatics, those who could not serve in any company, were thrown out by all people. He was able to engage all such people in in the most glorious service of making Rath for Lord Jagannath. So, because of his compassion, it is explained that he could preach to people with so much effectiveness. He would not give very scholarly presentations in his classes. Generally, he would never give class, but even while talking to people, he would not give very scholarly presentation, but he would speak from heart to people's heart. So one day, one devotee saw Jayanandra was preaching to people. So a typical preaching scene, how it is? Imagine Jayanandra is preaching to someone. How the scene will look like? कैसा दिखेगा? ओके, एक आसन होगा, वहां पे जैनंद्रू बैठे हैं, ओके, सामने जिनको प्रीच करे वो सब बैठे हैं. टिपिकल. बट यू नो हाउ ही सॉ जैनंद्रू preaching? Janandru was under a car repairing the car. Only thing that was visible was his legs. And outside there was a group of hippies. And he was speaking from there while repairing the car. And all these hippies were hooked and very eagerly with intense desire they were hearing what he was preaching. कर सकते हैं क्या ऐसा preaching? Imagine you are in hostel and your facilitator or your mentor comes. He's busy, doing something on his laptop, and not even looking at you. Will you feel like speaking to him? No, but Jain was such an attractive personality. उसका पैर भी दिख गया तो भी चलेगा, बस आवाज सुनाई दे रही है, it's enough. So means we can learn so many things from this. One is how is your behavior. That is going to transform people more than what philosophy has spoken. Another thing is Janant was not willing to waste even a single moment. Why to only preach? Why not to do service? Or when service is going on, why not to preach simultaneously? So car repair bill, because I told yesterday how Americans they have to learn to do everything themselves because hiring labor is very costly thing there. So you'd only get below the car and repair the car. Nowadays we don't see these kind of things because the cars have gone. The gap between the road and car is very less now. But early days, there were cars, they had big gap, and repairing car means first you have to get under the car. Correct? No? So लेटना पड़ता है पूरा, and you come out with a lot of grease and all that oil, whatever is falling off from the car engine. But even in that situation, he was engaged in preaching, and people were transfixed to whatever he was speaking. And after the Rath Yatra is over, Janandru would personally make very special prasad for anyone who has done any kind of support in the Rath Yatra service. So while doing service also he was reciprocating, but after service is over, he would personally cook cakes, or some pies or pizzas, something he will cook for every person who had assisted in Rath Yatra in any way. And because of such amazing abilities, he was able to engage even outside unqualified people in service to Krishna for 12 to 14 hours a day. किसी से 12 से 14 घंटा कंपनी भी काम नहीं करवा सकती इतना आसानी से सैलरी दे के. But here is Jayanand bro, without paying a single rupee, he was making them work hard for 12 to 14 hours. So later on, Jayanand bro got married. And after he was married, devotees explained that even as a householder, he hardly had any possessions with him. His life was as good as the life of a sannyasi. And whatever he would get, he would give it to Prabhupada. So somebody had gifted him $5,000. As soon as he got it, he gave it to Prabhupada because Prabhupada was looking for some donations to print Nectar of Devotion book. And if you read this Nectar of Devotion book in introduction, Prabhupada writes, "We are very grateful to Shriman Jayananda Das Adhikari for his kind donation towards printing this book." He was so selfless that later when he got cancer, he was admitted in hospital. So some people were giving him some funds because he never did any job for himself. He never saved any money for himself. Now he's having cancer. He needs some money for treatment. But that time, whatever donations people would give him for his treatment, you know, he would put all that donation into Rath Yatra service, but not use it for himself. Although it is given for his treatment. That mood was very prominent in him that I am very fallen. I am very unqualified. I don't deserve anything. Although he was so advanced, such a special person, so close and so dear to Prabhupada, but never expected anything. And even if something came his way, he never utilized that facility. So this is something really very high. No, you don't have money, you're in hospital, you want to get treated, and that money also he invested in Los Angeles Rath Yatra. Earlier he was taking care of San Francisco Rath Yatra. Later phases, he was also taking care of many other places. And as we discussed yesterday, also that even when he was in hospital, he was not wasting a single moment. On phone, he was continuously guiding people what to do, how to do. He was not telling, let me do my bhajan now. अभी हो गया, जितना सेवा करना था कर लिया. Now, Ante Narayana Smriti. Let me remember Lord Narayan. I'll do my bhajan now. Till last moment, he was either serving or preaching. We discussed yesterday how hospital environment also became full of festivals. All the nurses are chanting, doctors are chanting, and festivals are being celebrated, and prasadam is being cooked, prasadam is being distributed. So, okay, it is explained by devotees that what level of detachment Jayanand Prabhu had, devotees could witness when he got cancer. Hmm? They say that his life before cancer and life after cancer, there was zero change. As if nothing has happened. Imagine आपको न्यूज मिला, रोजी आपको कैंसर डिटेक्ट हो गया है, थर्ड स्टेज. कुछ चेंज आएगा जीवन में? क्या चेंज आएगा? हाँ, पूरा जीवन ही बदल जाएगा. पूरा जीवन ही बदल जाएगा. बट जैन वाज लाइक आफ्टर दिस न्यूज जीरो चेंज. As if nothing has happened in his life. Because पहले ही उनका जीवन इतना डेडिकेटेड था कि he doesn't have to change anything. And no shock, no surprise, no pain, no tears, nothing. In fact, he only continued to increase his services. So, okay. We also discussed how he was not eager to just come in front of Prabhupada, but Prabhupada was eager to see him. Hmm. He was always happy, engaged in some background service. And actually, see, those days, so many Prabhupada books were not available. But he was really very advanced because very in the beginning, without teaching, he understood that Vani Seva is more important than Vapu Seva. Vapu Seva means serving the body, physical body of the spiritual master. Vani Seva means following the instructions of the spiritual master. So generally in the beginning, people are very eager for Vapu association. अरे प्रभु जी उनके पास में है ना, सम संग मिल जाए, प्रभु जी आप रहते नहीं हैं. But he was really very advanced from beginning days itself. He had that understanding that instruction of spiritual master is more important than his physical association. Hmm? And by following the instruction of the spiritual master, we are always in his association. Imagine one is taking association, physical association of spiritual master, but not following the instruction of the spiritual master. What kind of association is that? Huh? So no one had to teach him this thing on his own, without much reading. But he just had this mood from day one. The Prabhupada has given instruction. As long as I am following that, to that degree, I am actually associating with him and serving him. Otherwise, just physical association is of not much value. Then, when there was a second initiation happening for Jayanand Prabhu, Gayatri initiation. So in ISKCON, we have two initiations. First is Harinam Diksha, when spiritual master gives him name and beads, japa beads for chanting. And after a few years, when you see the devotee is really practicing nicely, he's in goodness, then he is given Brahman Diksha. Brahman Diksha is for worshipping the deities. So Brahman Diksha happens privately. The spiritual master is in the closed room. The disciple goes inside, and Guru he will chant the Gayatri mantras in his right ear, and he will teach him how to count the mantras, and then he has to chant 3 times a day. So Jayanand Prabhu went inside Prabhupada's room for taking Gayatri mantra. He heard it, he repeated it, but after coming out, he was not able to chant it properly. Generally, sheets are given so that you can refer and chant, but he was not able to chant. So after him was number of Tamal Krishna Maharaj for second initiation. So his second initiation was before Tamal Krishna Maharaj. So Tamal Krishna Maharaj going inside, he asked Tamal Krishna Maharaj, "Can I also come with you? Because मुझे समझा नहीं क्या बोला प्रभुपाद ने. I want to hear again." So uh, then Prabhupada understood that he has not understood it properly. Prabhupada said, "Okay, I'll teach you again." Prabhupada spent 30 minutes teaching him how to chant Gayatri mantras, but still he was not able to chant. Then Prabhupada told him, "Don't worry, whatever you chant, Krishna will accept that as Gayatri mantra." You chant. Prabhupada so much faith in his purity and his advancement. He said, "No problem. Whatever you chant, that will be accepted as Gayatri mantra by Krishna." So, anyways, finally, on May 1st, 1977, Jayanand Prabhu left this planet. He had joined Krishna consciousness movement in 1967, and just 10 years of practice. Departed in 1977. So this was something like, because when the devotees have a lot of love for the Lord, they don't want to see Lord going away from this planet, and they pray that before Lord departs, I want to go. Like many chaste wives, that this is one of their prayer, कि पति की मृत्यु के पहले मेरा मृत्यु हो जाए. I cannot see this world without my husband because of their high chastity and purity that they live with. The same way, a disciple also always prays that uh, I don't want to see this world without my spiritual master. Or the devotees also say that I don't want to see this world without the Lord. So there are some personalities who have left the planet before the Lord left. Like if you see Bhishma Pitama, he departed before Krishna. Or Haridas Thakur also left this world before Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's departure. So some devotees say that something similar was Jayanand Prabhu's case. But just before, Prabhupada left the planet in November 1977, so just a few months before. So it appeared that as if he had come just to assist Prabhupada. And he also again went somewhere to assist wherever Prabhupada is going. Correct, no? Prabhupada came to US and he also came in 1967, assisted him, served him just few months before. And something like maybe Prabhupada, he knows that Prabhupada is going to go now or whatever. So he also left. So he was really very, very special associate of Srila Prabhupada. And Prabhupada was so much inspired, so happy with his service that he finally told that everyone should follow the example of Jayanand. And Prabhupada told that we should celebrate his disappearance day in Vaishnava calendar. There is only Prabhupada disciple whose name is added by Prabhupada in the Vaishnava calendar. You will see that. And after Jayanand Prabhu's departure, Prabhupada wrote a letter to Jayanand Prabhu, to the soul of Jayanand Prabhu. After Jayanand Prabhu left, then after that Prabhupada wrote, "My dear Jayanand." He wrote a letter and he told that, "I am sure you have gone back home, back to God." Hari Bo. So the American people, they say he was the first American Hare Krishna saint. They have many saints, right? Saint Petersburg, Saint Thomas, Saint, so many saints, they have Christian saints. So they said he was the first American Hare Krishna saint, Saint Jayananda, like that. So with this, I mean, I have a lot to share, but I feel this is what I've heard about him. If you get opportunity, time and again, many articles keep coming. Many devotees keep sharing their experiences. So if you also get to know more, share with me. I'll add it in my uh, treasure so that I can share with more devotees. His Grace Jayananda Prabhu ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So having said this, we'll continue now, or we'll begin now our discussion on learning to see good in others. Very, very important thing, because uh, in the association of devotees, we can get benefited only to the degree we are able to see good in them. Hmm? Correct, na? To the degree you see good in them, to that degree you get benefited. तो कौन कितना एडवांस करेगा यहाँ पे, ये आप कैसी दृष्टि रखते हो उस पे है. मंत्र सबका सेम है, मॉर्निंग प्रोग्राम सबका सेम है, मंगल आरती सबका सेम है, लेकिन एडवांसमेंट सबका अलग अलग होगा. बाय द टाइम ऑल ऑफ यू रीच आफ्टर फाइनल ईयर और वर्क, सबका अलग अलग लेवल रहेगा. एंड वन ऑफ द वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट फैक्टर इन डिसाइडिंग हाउ एडवांस्ड वन हैज बिकम इज how much you are able to see good in others, how much you avoid fault finding, because Vaishnava Aparad becomes one of the very big obstacle in the path of devotional service. So this fault finding is one service that we do, you know, without anyone telling us to do. This is not a service allotted on the seva chart. Correct, no? No one allots this service. Who is internal manager here? Internal manager we have. सेवा अलॉट कौन करते हैं? प्रवेश में. हाँ? तो प्रभु जी ने कभी सेवा अलॉट किया है किसी को? प्रभु जी आपको थोड़ा सा फॉल्ट फाइंड करना है, क्या है, लेकिन करते हैं सब लोग. हाँ. One service that we keep doing, you know, other services which are told we may not do, but this one service, whether somebody tells or not, we keep doing. We have our own inside one paper and pen, and we keep writing or keep giving marks to people. ए फेल हो गया, ये यहाँ पे गड़बड़ है, इसका ये गड़बड़ है, इसका ये गड़बड़ है. अगर ये सेवा हम ऐसे ही करते रहे तो भगवान बोलेंगे अच्छा है, तुम यहीं पे रुको, जनरेशन आफ्टर जनरेशन सबके फॉल्ट निकालते रहो, बाकी सब लोग चले जाएंगे, आप यहीं पे रहना, मार्क्स देते हैं सबको. इसका जपा ना आज अच्छा नहीं है, इसका ये गड़बड़ है, इसका ये गड़बड़ है. सो देयर आर थ्री थिंग्स नाउ इन fault finding. OMA. This OMA formula we will discuss today. First is we should see the fault objectively. Second is M stands for motivation. What is the motivation behind seeing that fault? And third is what should be our attitude after seeing the fault. These three things broadly we will discuss. So objectively seeing the fault means not labeling the complete person as faulty because of one fault that he has. Like suppose somebody happens to sleep during the day every day for 2 hours, तो हम क्या बोलेंगे, कैसा भक्त है ये, लेजी. एंड उसके सर पे एक लेबल लगा देते हैं हम, लेजी डिवोटी, लेजी प्रभु. करेक्ट ना? एंड देन फ्रॉम दैट एंगल ओनली वी सी हिम एवरी टाइम. फिर वो वेसल वॉशिंग में कर रहा है तो वी विल सी लेजी प्रभु इज वॉशिंग वेसल्स लेजीली. समझ रहे? ठीक है, he has one aspect in his life, but that doesn't mean whole personality is like that. That is seeing fault objectively. Hmm? Don't make it as a complete and permanent thing in his life. So actually, if we want, we can see good in person who has apparently some fault also. Let's say objectively you separate out the good side and bad side, or not so good side. We won't call bad side as bad side. Bad side also has some good sides. Uh, so you see, faults will always be there in everyone, except Krishna. Everyone is going to have some faults. So in the churning of milk ocean, समुद्र मंथन जब हुआ था, so many personalities came out of churning of the milk ocean. One of the personality who came out of milk ocean is Mother Rama, Lakshmi, Rama Devi. And when she came out with a very beautiful garland in her hand. And she was looking for a perfect husband. किसके साथ शादी करूं, पता है आपको? She was looking for a perfect husband. So Acharya has explained this in Samudra Manthan Leela. And she was looking at different people and trying to analyze, is he defect free? तो पहले उन्होंने देखा रावण को. रावण, my lord, very powerful person, ब्राह्मणा, सोने की लंका, विद्वान पंडित, and he's able to keep so many women happy by providing them whatever they need. But there is a black spot on his character. What is that? He has done Sita Haran. ये थोड़ा सा प्रॉब्लम है कि he has a serious problem with lust. This anartha of lust is very high in him, and he is also a mortal being, perishable, अमर नहीं है. तो रिजेक्ट, इसको माला नहीं पहनाओगी. Then she saw Shukracharya. Oh, Shukracharya is so learned. He is so intelligent that from Shastras, based on scriptures, he can find out how to speak a lie without getting a sin. He is so learned कि पूरा एनालिसिस कर सकता है शास्त्र का, लेकिन उसका भी कैरेक्टर में प्रॉब्लम. Shukracharya also had, he's siding the demons, not siding demigods, going against Vishnu. So ये सब character problem, so reject. Then she saw Lord Shiva. Lord Shiva is very powerful. He's Mahadev, Devadidev, Mahadev. But his problem is he lives in Smashan Ghat. वहाँ पे तो मैं नहीं रह पाऊंगी. And he's always having this ashes around his body and snakes on his body. And all his associates are both पिशाच, all these hobgoblins. ये सब लोग हैं, तो थोड़ा यहाँ पे प्रॉब्लम है. And then she saw Parshuram. Parshuram is very powerful. So powerful that he could kill all the Kshatriyas on the planet. How many times? 21 times. But his problem is he's merciless. गुस्सा आ गया तो गर्दन उड़ा देंगे. Then she saw Indra, the king of all the demigods. He's very handsome, very powerful. But he's also a woman monger and he also has a lot of insecurity with his post. बार बार उसकी पोस्ट खतरे में आती है. बार बार वो इनसिक्योर हो जाते हैं, बार बार अपराध करते बैठते हैं. So like this, she went on analyzing so many big personalities, and all these personalities she found they have very good sides, लेकिन उन सब में एक serious, कम से कम एक serious problem है. Then she came to Lord Narayan. और बोले, yeah, this person appears to be without any fault. But then she said, no, he also has a fault. You know what is that? Huh? Okay. You know what she said? She said, Lord Narayan is the perfect personality without any fault. His only fault is he doesn't hanker for me as much as I am hankering for him. ये fault है. समझ गए? I mean, this is not a fault. But if you want to find a fault, you can find fault in even Lord Narayan. And we should understand कि Lord Narayan को छोड़ के बाकी सब में कुछ ना कुछ खामियां रहने ही वाली है. But along with that, they will also have some good things. It depends on what do we want to see. So now this is a white wall. Like if there is a whiteboard, and teacher takes a marker and puts a black dot here and asks, what do you see here? क्या बोलेंगे? Black dot दिख रहा है सब? हाँ? What do you see here? But how much is that black dot in the whole wall? How much percentage area? Huh? Not even 1%. What do you see here means what do you see here is white wall. But what do we say? Black dot. ऐसा ही हम भक्तों के साथ में करते हैं. वो भक्त इतना सफेद शुभ्र है, इतना साफ सुथरा है, सब कुछ अच्छा है. यू नो, उसने क्या क्या छोड़ नहीं दिया कृष्ण के लिए. He's following four regulative principles. He's chanting Hare Krishna. He's wearing dhoti kurta, tilak. So many things he's doing. And there is one black spot. And what do we say? Hey, black spot devotee. अरे 99% उसका white है. See that? So anyone who is able to do something good will always have some short, because that is the nature of this world. Nothing is perfect. Nothing is perfect in this world. So one day I had told to my counselor, in the very beginning days of my Krishna consciousness, I was facing problems with the devotees with whom I'm staying. That is one of the reasons we discussed this as one of the first topic when voice shift. Because initially when we were staying with devotees, कुछ तो कुछ अरे यार ये ऐसा है. Correct? Initially we have very spiritual vision, but after 1 week, all faults start appearing. So I was also facing difficulty. And my counselor told me very nice thing. I said, Puji, this devotee, he was the OC, overall coordinator, a PM, whatever you call. इसका ये प्रॉब्लम है, इसका ये प्रॉब्लम है, उसका ये प्रॉब्लम है. And he told me, Prabhu, only those who do service, they commit mistake. That was quite a profound statement. That means सेवा करेगा वही गलती होगा. मतलब सेवा कर रहे हैं, तुमको लग रहा है तुम गलती नहीं कर रहे, मतलब तुम सेवा ही नहीं कर रहे हो. समझ रहे हो ना? तुमको लग रहा है तुम गलती नहीं कर रहे, मतलब तुमने कभी सेवा किया ही नहीं. जो भी सेवा करेगा गलती होगा ही होगा. टू अर्न इज ह्यूमन. To err is human. What are the four defects we have? Imperfect senses, tendency to commit mistake, tendency to get illusion, and tendency to cheat. तो ये हमारा बेसिक मैन्युफैक्चरिंग फीचर है. टेंडेंसी टू कमिट मिस्टेक. मिस्टेक होना ही होना है. बट गुड थिंग इज एटलीस्ट सेवा तो कर रहे हैं. सो इफ यू सी इन द स्काई, देयर आर सो मेनी स्टार्स विदाउट एनी स्पॉट्स. स्टार्स में कोई स्पॉट दिखता है? स्टार्स परफेक्ट देते हैं लेकिन लाइट देता है जीरो लाइट देता है. चांद कितना लाइट देता है लेकिन कितना स्पॉट्स है. समझे? तो मून विच गिव्स लाइट, द ओनली ऑब्जेक्ट इन द स्काई विच गिव्स लाइट also has spots. But stars may not have any spots, but they don't give any light also. जो सेवा करेगा, हाँ, कुछ ना कुछ होना ही है उसमें. But it is up to us, what do we want to focus upon. हम जिस चीज पे फोकस करेंगे उसका हम एसोसिएशन ले रहे हैं. When you see a person's fault, you are associating with a fault, and you become what you associate with. जैसा संग वैसा रंग. तो सब में अगर हम फॉल्ट ही देखेंगे, मतलब सबके फॉल्ट के साथ में मस्त संग हो रहा है. साधु संग के बदले फॉल्ट संग हो रहा है. और जल्दी से वो फॉल्ट हमें भी आ जाएगी. बट इंस्टेड ऑफ सीइंग द फॉल्ट, इफ यू सी द गुड क्वालिटी ऑफ द डिवोटी, then you are associating with the good qualities, and very soon you will acquire that good quality. समझ गया? तो मून का स्पॉट देखोगे तो आप में भी स्पॉट आ जाएगा. मून का लाइट देखोगे तो आप में भी लाइट आ जाएगा. तो हम पे डिपेंड करता है क्या देखना है, और उससे हम कैसे बनेंगे वो डिसाइड होगा. सो भगवान ना, ये एक ही ऐसे व्यक्ति है जिनमें कोई फॉल्ट नहीं है, लेकिन ऐसे फॉल्टलेस पर्सन को भी हम छोड़ के आए हैं. मतलब कितने बड़े फॉल्टी है हम. हमको लगता है मेरे में कोई गलती नहीं है प्रभु जी. अरे क्या गलती नहीं है ना? भगवान जो कंप्लीटली परफेक्ट है, जिनमें कोई फॉल्ट नहीं, उनको तुम छोड़ के आ गए. तो यहाँ के भक्त को आप क्या छोड़ोगे? मतलब कहाँ कहाँ उनमें से फॉल्ट, उनमें फॉल्ट निकाल के हम छोड़ के आ गए यहाँ पे. तो ये तो सब बदजीव है. इनके साथ आप कैसा वर्तन करोगे? तो दिस इज द बिगेस्ट फॉल्ट इन अस इज we left the faultless personality of God and came here. After that, whatever else we do is going to be faulty only. Hmm? So there was one very big millionaire, very successful. Uh, His name was Andrew Carnegie. This Andrew Carnegie was so successful that there were 53 millionaires working under him. Millionaire matlab, no? In, it's like in our standards, huh? Lakpati, 10 लाख सिनर्स। और अमेरिका में मिलीनियर मतलब यहाँ पे करोड़पति से मतलब, जैसे वो कौन बनेगा करोड़पति था ना इंडिया में, दैट वाज अ कॉपी ऑफ वन अमेरिकन शो, हु वांट्स टू बिकम अ मिलेनियर। तो मिलियन मतलब 10 लाख होता है, लेकिन एक्चुअली उनके स्टैंडर्ड में करोड़पति, हमारा करोड़पति। तो 53 करोड़पति पीपल ऑफ वर्किंग अंडर हिम। तो उनका इंटरव्यू लिया गया, उनको पूछा, अरे आप कैसे मैनेज किया आपने, करोड़पति आदमी किसी के नीचे काम करेगा? अरे आम फटीचर इंजीनियर भी किसी के नीचे काम नहीं करना चाहता। Like I go to Chennai regularly, I ask students there, those who are in first year engineering, second year, third year. So I ask them, what is your goal? What career you want to have? The first answer they give is, प्रभु जी मैं किसी के नीचे काम नहीं करना चाहता, मैं अपना स्टार्टअप करूंगा। करेक्ट ना? आई हैव माय ओन स्टार्टअप, व्हाई टू वर्क अंडर समवन, आई एम अ सर्वेंट ऑफ समवन। तो ये जो प्रभुत्व जमाने की जो आकांक्षा है ये भर भर के पड़ी है जीवात्मा में, दास उसको किसी का नहीं बनना है। लेकिन ये 53 करोड़पति को दास बना के रखे थे एंड्रयू कार्नेगी। तो उनको पूछा, हाउ आर एबल टू वर्क विथ सो मेनी मिलेनियर्स अंडर यू, हाउ डू यू मैनेज देम, हाउ डू यू कीप देम हैप्पी, हाउ आर दे नॉट लिविंग यू एंड गोइंग अवे? You know what he told? He said, when you dig for gold, you don't count how much dirt is coming out. जब आप सोने की खदान में सोना ढूंढते हो तो सोना मिलता है ऐसा? आपने देखा है सोना कैसे आता है? हाँ, सैंड ही सैंड रहता है। सबसे पहले मैं शॉक हो गया, मुझे लगा खदान में सोना मिलता है, चलो खुदाई करते हैं सोना चुरा के लेके आ जाएंगे। बोले सोना ऐसे नहीं मिलता है, गोल्ड की खदान में आप जाओ, सब मिट्टी होता है वो, सिर्फ वो मिट्टी को रिफाइन करना पड़ता है बहुत। तो ये रूम जितना, इतना सारा मिट्टी आपने रिफाइन किया तो इतना सा सोना मिलेगा आपको। करेक्ट ना? पूरा ट्रक भर मिट्टी आपने किया तो एक एक ग्राम भी सोना नहीं मिलेगा उसमें से। He said, when you dig for gold, you don't see how much dirt is coming out. I want to have that gold from that person. I don't see the dirt that he's coming giving me. ये जो मिलेनियर है, उस मतलब क्या है, सर्रे के पास में 99% मिट्टी है, 1% गोल्ड है। आई वॉन्ट दैट गोल्ड फ्रॉम हिम, आई डोंट काउंट द 99% मिट्टी दैट इज देयर इन हिज पर्सनालिटी। तो वो मिट्टी जो आ रहा है उसके तरफ आंख बंद कर दो, और जो सोना है उसको देखो। सेम वे व्हेन वी आर डीलिंग विद डिवोटीज, वी शुड नॉट see कि he is having so much dirt. Even if one little gold is there, we should take it. Chanakya Pandit says, gold even if found in filthy place should not be rejected. अगर आपको सोने की अंगूठी मिली कीचड़ में, ए गंदा है, ऐसा करेंगे? क्या करेंगे? उठा लेंगे, धो के रख लेंगे, भगवान को दे देंगे। करेक्ट ना? तो he says what? विद्यादपि कांचनम, विषादपि अमृतम ग्राह्यम, मेद्यादपि कांचनम। किसी दुर्जन से कुछ अच्छी बात भी सुनने मिलती है तो ले लेना चाहिए। अगर विष के प्याले में एक अमृत का बूंद भी रहता है तो पी लेना चाहिए, क्योंकि अमृत कभी कंटेमिनेट नहीं होता विष से। और नॉलेज कभी कंटेमिनेट नहीं होता दुर्जन से। और कोई अच्छी अगर अ, स्त्री है, भले ही नीचे परिवार में जन्म हुआ है, लेकिन अच्छी अगर क्वालिटी है, देन शी डजंट गेट कंटामिनेटेड। एंड वेद्यादपि कांचनम, gold doesn't get contaminated by the dirt around. Same way, the qualities of devotees, they are like gold. And that is what we should be looking for. Then you will be able to work with them. But if you just keep counting the dirt that they are giving you, then it becomes very difficult to um, serve with them or work with them. Hmm? Okay. Now, Chanakya Pandit says another thing. He says that you cannot change a person. Hmm? And he gives little unclean example for that, but quite striking example. He says you cannot change a person, just like no matter how much water you put on your back, it will only pass a stool. Hmm? कितना भी पानी डालो वो स्टूल ही पास करेगा. सेम वे नो मैटर हाउ मच यू क्लीन अ पर्सन ही विल नेवर चेंज. वो ऐसा ही रहने वाला है. सो दिस इज अपोजिट ऑफ ऑब्जेक्टिवली सीइंग. दिस इज लाइक लेबलिंग, ये ऐसा ही है और ऐसा ही रहेगा. बट नो, इफ वी सी स्क्रिप्चर्स, people have changed. Hmm? Every saint had a past and every sinner has a future. That should be our hope. Can we give examples of some people who got transformed? Valmiki. Ratnakar Daku became such a great sage. Valmiki. It's not that he did not change, he changed completely. 180 degree. Who else? Jagai and Madai. Very good. Hmm. Who else? Angulimal also. Okay. Ajamil got transformed. Very good. Hmm. The the prostitute who had come to pull down Haridas Thakur. Hmm, he got, Brigari also got transformed. So many people. So that means, so Sanatan Goswami gives this. He counters this. He says that no, people do change. Hmm. Just like there is a process, chemical process called alchemy, which can change or transform gold, iron to gold. Alchemy process can transform iron into gold. Same way, by the process of bhakti, anyone can get transformed. And that's why he said, every saint had a past. So someone who is sinner today can become uh, a great saint tomorrow. Every sinner has a future. So we should have hope. We should not lose hope. And we should not label. So Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur would give example of this naked pencho. Naked pencho story. You heard? Would say that there was a in village generally the small kids they run around without any clothes. ऐसे नंगे घूमते हैं. So that boy, his name was Pencho. Pencho was always running around naked. So people would call him Naked Pencho. That became his name. Then he became little older, but he grew a little bit, few years. Still people would call him Naked Pencho. And then later on he went to the city for education, higher education. He became district magistrate. And the news came to village कि वो पेंचो अभी हाई कोर्ट जज बन गया. सॉरी, हाई कोर्ट डिस्ट्रिक्ट मैजिस्ट्रेट बन गया. अरे, नेकेड पेंचो, he became district magistrate. ऐसे कैसे पॉसिबल है? And one day when he was coming, and oh, naked pencho, how you have become district magistrate? अरे अभी वो naked नहीं है, अभी कपड़े पहनता है, अभी बदल गया है. But people have that preconceived notion. ये ऐसा है, ये ऐसा है, ये ऐसा ही है और ये ऐसा ही रहेगा. ऐसा नहीं होता है. People do change. So, and even if some bad side is there, that also had some good benefits. Like a knife, uh, the sharp side of a knife is both good and bad. If there is no knife, how can you cut fruits? How can you cut vegetables? But that knife can also be misused by some people for committing some crime. So, okay. So this is objectively saying the fault. There's two more things in this. One thing is, hmm, there may be there are two, you know, species. which are compared. One is honeybee and another is fly. Fly generally sits on stool, unclean things, and honeybee generally sits on flowers. Imagine a fly entering a garden full of flowers, and there is be one small garbage can somewhere in the corner, some dirty things are lying. The fly will enter the garden full of flowers, but go and exactly sit on the garbage. Hmm? And whereas a honeybee, even if enters a garbage can, if there is one rose flower, will go and sit on the rose flower. Correct, no? So devotees compared to honeybee, सारग्राही. भले ही वो सामने वाले भक्त में वो पूरा गार्बेज कैन है. हम्म? अगर आप उसके गार्बेज पे बैठते हो तो आप कौन हो? मक्खी, फ्लाई. But if you sit on the good quality that he has, then you are honeybee, saragrahi, devotee. But even if that devotee may have a garden full of flower like qualities, पूरा क्वालिटी से क्वालिटी से एक थोड़ा सा उसमें कुछ तो गार्बेज बचा है. And if you just go and catch that, then we are not better than that dirty fly. Like that. And we should also see that the devotees, at least they have accepted the process of purification. It's just matter of time they will get purified. If somebody is dirty, unclean, and he has started taking shower, and you say, अरे ये तेरे पीठ पे कीचड़ है, अरे ये गंदा है, अरे वो गंदा, अरे वेट, नहा रहा है, नहाने दे. जब नहा लेगा साफ हो जाएगा. लाइक दैट. तो डिवोटीज अभी जस्ट आए हैं वॉइस में, अभी नहा रहे हैं. कैसे नहा रहे हैं? हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे. वेट फॉर सम टाइम, साफ हो जाएगा. और यू कम टू वॉइस एंड से प्रभु जी इसमें ये प्रॉब्लम, इसमें ये प्रॉब्लम, ऐसे इसमें. आई नेवर थॉट डिवोटीज हैव प्रॉब्लम्स. आई थॉट डिवोटीज मीन्स वैकुंठ मैन, ऑल परफेक्टेड बीइंग्स, स्पिरिचुअल वर्ल्ड के. बट दैट इज अ रॉन्ग conception that we have. Hmm? Voice is surely a Vaikuntha, but a budding Vaikuntha. Hmm? Voice is more of a hospital right now. It's a treatment place. So if you go to a hospital, correct ना? यहाँ पे सब रोगी है हम लोग. What is our रोग? हाँ? क्या रोग है हमें? वायरल फीवर, बर्थ, ओल्ड एज, डिजीज, डेथ. हाँ? और क्या रोग है हमें? हाँ? अनर्थस. काम क्रोध लोभ मोह मद मात्सर्य, ये सारे सिम्टम्स है हमारे रोग. भव रोग हुआ है हमें, अविद्या का रोग है. करेक्ट ना? इसलिए आए ना यहाँ पे. तो सब रोगी आए हैं यहाँ पे और दवाई ले रहे हैं. दवाई ले रहे हैं हरि नाम की, दवाई ले रहे हैं प्रसाद का, ट्रीटमेंट ले रहे हैं सेवा की, और संघ का. तो अगर हॉस्पिटल में आए हो, आप भी हॉस्पिटल में हो, बाकी सब भी हॉस्पिटल में. अब अरे वो खांस रहा है, अरे वो उल्टी कर रहा है ना. यहाँ पे सब परफेक्ट होना चाहिए, हॉस्पिटल है ना. हर कोई एकदम स्वस्थ होना चाहिए हॉस्पिटल में. करेक्ट? हॉस्पिटल का पर्पस क्या है? सबको स्वस्थ बनाना. इतने दिन से हॉस्पिटल में ये लोग स्वस्थ नहीं हुए अब तक. इसका पैर टूटा है, ये अंधा हो गया है, ये चिल्लाता है रात भर, हाँ, ये छींकते रहता है, ये उल्टी करते रहता है. क्या है प्रभु जी है? लेकिन हॉस्पिटल ऐसा ही होता है ना. अगर सब कोई परफेक्ट है तो हॉस्पिटल का काम क्या है? हाँ? हॉस्पिटल का काम क्या है? तो ये सब लोग क्या है? हॉस्पिटल के पेशेंट्स है. सारे डिवोटिस हॉस्पिटल में पेशेंट है. सबका कुछ अलग अलग बीमारी है. और उनके ऊपर हंसो मत, क्योंकि तुम्हारा भी एक बीमारी है. वो भी तुम्हारे बारे में ऐसा ही बोलता है, अरे मुझे खून थूकता है वो. जब खांसता है तो खून निकलता है उसका. करेक्ट ना? खून कब थूकता है आदमी पता है? हाँ. हाँ, जब जानलेवा बीमारी हो जाती है तो खून थूकता है. तो हम खून थूक रहे हैं और बोला पूछी वो छींक रहा है. उसका पैर टूट गया, अरे तुम मरने वाले हो, तुम तुम्हारी दवाई लो पहले. नो, ये सब मत देखो ज्यादा. तो एक डिवोटी, हमारे सीनियर डिवोटी, बहुत अच्छा एग्जाम्पल देते हैं वो. सोचिए दो हॉस्पिटल है, एक हॉस्पिटल है वहां पे पूरा मैनेजमेंट एकदम परफेक्ट है। आप जैसे ही जाओ अंदर, आपको एक रिसेप्शनिस्ट एकदम अच्छे से ग्रीट करेगी, आपको ठंडा पानी पिलाएगी, आपको कुछ स्नैक्स खिलाएगी, आपसे फॉर्म भरवाया जाएगा। पूरा एसी वेल कंडीशनड, एयर कंडीशनड हॉस्पिटल है। बराबर आपका टाइम, जितना टाइम दिया था उतने ही टाइम पे आपका अपॉइंटमेंट मिलता है डॉक्टर का। डॉक्टर भी बहुत प्रेम से आदान प्रदान करता है, आपको बहुत अच्छा ट्रीटमेंट देता है। लेकिन जब दवाई देता है तो आपको पॉइजन देता है, जहर, इंजेक्शन में। तो कैसा लगेगा? और दूसरा हॉस्पिटल है जहाँ पे पूरा मिसमैनेज्ड है। हम्म, आप जाओ तो रिसेप्शनिस्ट होता ही नहीं वहां पे, पता ही नहीं डॉक्टर है कि नहीं है। और बोला था 10 बजे, डॉक्टर आया 3 बजे। हम्म, बोला था सुबह ब्रेकफास्ट मिलेगा टाइम पे, लेकिन मिला लंच के टाइम पे। सब मिसमैनेज हॉस्पिटल है। लोग भी उतना अच्छे से बात नहीं कर रहे हैं। सब लोग परेशान है। लेकिन जो मेडिसिन है ना वो एकदम परफेक्ट है। दैट मेडिसिन व्हेन यू टेक, योर डिजीज इज 100% क्योर्ड। तो कौन से हॉस्पिटल में जाएंगे हम? हाँ, पहले या दूसरे? दूसरे में करेगा। पहले में क्यों नहीं? दवाई काम नहीं करेगा। तो मटेरियल वर्ल्ड इज लाइक दैट, सब कुछ बाहर मस्त परफेक्ट दिखेगा, अरे प्रभु जी कितना अच्छा है, सब ऑर्गेनाइज परफेक्ट, वेल मेंटेन, वेल कंडीशन। लेकिन वहां पे आपको जहर पिलाया जाएगा इंद्रिय तृप्ति का, जिससे हमारा भवरोग और भी बढ़ जाएगा और हम मर जाएंगे। स्पिरिचुअल लाइफ विल बी डेड। लेकिन ये एक हॉस्पिटल है, यहाँ पे थोड़ा मिसमैनेजमेंट होगा, क्योंकि सारे पेशेंट ही मैनेज कर रहे हैं। कौन मैनेज कर रहा है? सारे पेशेंट से मैनेज कर रहा है। जो जो पेशेंट मैनेज कर रहा है वो भी बीमार है, उसका भी जैसे कभी कोई होता है ना, जैसे कोविड के टाइम पे हुआ था। घर में सभी को कोविड हो गया है। देन कैन यू एक्सपेक्ट अ वेरी परफेक्ट मैनेजमेंट इन दैट होम? नहीं। वो माँ भी बीमार है, बिस्तर पे लेटी है, पिताजी भी बीमार है, लेटे हैं, बेटा भी बीमार है। खाना पकाने के लिए किसी में शक्ति नहीं है, ना ही कुछ साधन सामग्री यहाँ अवेलेबल है। बट वी टॉलरेट, वी अंडरस्टैंड कि बस वेट फॉर सम टाइम, दवाई ले रहे हैं हम, सब ठीक हो जाएगा। सेम वे राइट नाउ वी हैव कम इनटू द हॉस्पिटल, एंड देयर में बी सम मिसमैनेजमेंट। आते ही शायद प्रसाद जैसा चाहिए था वैसा नहीं मिला, कुक चले गए, या फिर और कुछ हो गया, या कपड़े सुखाए तो भीग गए, बारिश गए ना। मेनी थिंग्स में हैपन। मुझे हैड कम विद इमेजिनेशन कि यहाँ पे पूरा वैकुंठा मिलेगा, ना वैकुंठ नहीं है, पहले ये हॉस्पिटल है। क्या है? हॉस्पिटल। लेकिन यहाँ पे जो दवाई है वो परफेक्ट है। ये दवाई जो है वो पूरा भवरोग को जड़ से निकाल देगा। So with that understanding, we should continue to stay in this place. So that is objectively seeing the world around and objectively seeing the faults in people. Once there was a situation where there was one lady in the time of Jesus Christ, and all the people, now she was wearing very tattered clothes, and people were kind of throwing stones at her because she was doing adultery in the society. She was contaminating people by her bad association. And Jesus told, stop. If you are free from sin, then you can throw stones on her. And then people became shocked. हम तो उतना शुद्ध नहीं है, हम तो उसको क्यों मार रहे हैं? Because sometimes when we are seeing fault, we may be having more faults than them. Correct? We have heard this discussion between the sieve and the needle. No, sieve, वो छन्नी, छन्नी होती है ना, वो आटा छानने का छन्नी होता है। क्या बोलते हैं? छन्नी। हाँ, चलनी, चलनी, दैट सीव। उसमें वो कुछ भी अनाज डाल के उसको उसको शेक करके पूरा फिल्टर करते हैं। तो उसने बोला नीडल को, नीडल सुई, ए सुई तेरे में छेद है। सुई क्या बोलेगी? हाँ? तेरे में छेद के अलावा और कुछ है क्या? वो ऊपर का जो पोर्शन है जिसमें छेद नहीं है वो तो इममटेरियल है, हो या ना हो उसके बिना भी काम करता है। सी देखा है? कभी कभी वो चलने का सिर्फ वो फ्लैट पोर्शन ही होता है, हाँ, साइड का काम नहीं है, उसमें डाल दो। चलनी काम करता है। तो उसी बोल रहा है नीडल को, अरे तेरे में होल है। तो ऐसा जूनियर डिवोटी बोल रहा है सीनियर डिवोटी को, प्रभु जी तुम में होल है, तुम में फॉल्ट है। तुम में फॉल्ट के अलावा और कुछ है क्या? लेकिन तुम्हारा जीवन ही फॉल्ट ही फॉल्ट. सो बिकॉज वी हैव फॉल्ट, वी सी अदर्स फॉल्ट्स. So Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he said, I see faults in others because I am honeycombed with faults. You know honeycomb? मच्छे ये मधुमक्खी का छत्ता. हम्म? तो कितनी मक्खियां होती है उसमें? बाप रे, भर भर के होती है. कंप्लीटली फिल्ड. एंड ही सेड, एंड अंदर भी जो मध होता है एकदम डेंसली फिल्ड. Said I am honeycombed with faults. He did not say I have one fault, I have two faults, I have three faults. I am honeycombed with faults. फॉल्ट्स का छत्ता भरा है अंदर. इसीलिए मैं दूसरे में फॉल्ट्स देखता हूँ. जैसी दृष्टि वैसी सृष्टि. करेक्ट ना? जैसी दृष्टि है वैसी सृष्टि होती है. तो हमारी दृष्टि, हम ही फॉल्ट वाले हैं, इसलिए दूसरों में भी हम फॉल्ट ही देखते हैं. लाइक दैट. सो भगवान भगवद गीता में बताते हैं दिस टू वेरी नाइस वर्सेस, इफ यू पॉसिबल कैन रिपीट 9.30 and 9.31. 9.30, can you repeat? अपि चेत्सु दुराचारो भजते मामनन्यभाक् साधुरेव समन्तव्यः सम्यग् व्यवसितो हि सः क्षिप्रं भवति धर्मात्मा शाश्वत शान्तिं निगच्छति. कौन्तेय प्रतिजानीहि न मे भक्तः प्रणश्यति. सो भगवान कह रहे हैं गीता में, अपि चेत सुदुराचारो, अगर मेरे भक्त ने, अपि अगर, ऐसा नहीं कि करेगा, अगर, अपि चेत सुदुराचारो. सो वेरेवर सु इज एडेड इन संस्कृत, दैट इज लाइक सुपरलेटिव. गंध मतलब फ्रेग्रेंस, सुगंध मतलब बहुत अच्छा फ्रेग्रेंस. जहां पे भी सुसुखम, बहुत ज्यादा सुख, सुख, सुसुख. तो वैसे सुदुराचार मतलब, दुराचार इज बैड कंडक्ट, सुदुराचार मीन्स अबॉमिनेबल कंडक्ट. So api chet suduracharo, even if my devotee does a very very abominable activity, but bhajate mam ananya bhag, लेकिन अगर मेरे भजन में लगा हुआ है, हो सकता है कभी कभी गलती से उसके कुछ गलत काम हो गया, लेकिन भक्त बना है, भक्ति कर रहा है, मॉर्निंग प्रोग्राम कर रहा है, चैंटिंग कर रहा है, गलती से कुछ उससे दुराचार हो गया, तो साधु रेव समन्तव्य, उसको साधु समझना चाहिए. सम्यक व्यवसितो ही सह, बहुत जल्दी वो अपने राइट सिचुएशन पे सिचुएट हो जाएगा. क्षिप्रम भवति धर्मात्मा, और बहुत जल्दी धर्मात्मा बनेगा वो. क्षिप्रम भवति धर्मात्मा शाश्वत शांति निगच्छति कौन्तेय प्रतिजानी नमे भक्तः प्रणश्यति. मेरे भक्ति का कभी भी, मेरे भक्तों का कभी भी पतन नहीं होता है. नमे भक्तः प्रणश्यति. सो okay. So the last thing in this is, in this objectively seeing the fault is, hate the sin, not the sinner. Or if we take it one step ahead, we can say hate the sin, but love the sinner. Hate the sin, but love the sinner. Don't hate the sinner. So we hate the disease that person has. Don't hate the person who has the disease. If somebody has a disease, you may hate the disease, but don't hate the person. So अगर किसी में कोई fault है, you may hate that fault, but don't hate that person. Separate out the fault from the person. So, Pro, should we stop here? Yes, last 2 days we have been extending 8, 20, 25. I have completed one part. 2 more parts are remaining for this, which we can do tomorrow if you want. Long discussion will take place. What should be motivation and what should be your attitude? We are doing big topics now. Okay, somebody has any question on this till now? Or you want to add any points, Adisham, to?
हाँ प्रभु हरे कृष्णा.
So this objective thing, but tomorrow we will see what should be your motivation. So
हरे
we are able to
कृष्णा.
see fault, but what should be
हरे
my
कृष्णा.
motivation? And then what should be my attitude towards that fault? And then how can we uh, benefit the devotee? Okay. वो आगे आगे समझेगा. The question is ऑब्जेक्टिवली भी देखना चाहिए कि नहीं देखना चाहिए, वो अभी आगे आएगा. और सीनियर में कैसे देखना चाहिए, जूनियर में कैसे देखना चाहिए, ये भी डिस्कस करेंगे हम. जूनियर ने सीनियर के फॉल्ट कैसे देखने चाहिए और सीनियर ने जूनियर के फॉल्ट कैसे देखना चाहिए. ऑल दिस थिंग्स विल डिस्कस इन ग्रेट डिटेल. देयर इज वन कमेंट ऑनलाइन. Yes, I think Shashi Prabhu has a question. Maybe if you can type, because I may not be able to hear the
हाँ
question.
हरे कृष्णा प्रभु.
Anyways, we'll stop then today on time, so that you don't continue to feel that this is a mismanaged hospital. Like last 2 days. Yes, Prabhu. वही बोल रहा हूँ, अमेरिकन लोग ना थोड़े अलग होते. क्वेश्चन है कि जयानंद प्रभु अपर मिडिल क्लास में थे, तो कैब ड्राइवर क्यों बन गए? पैसा था, लेकिन वो पिताजी का था. अमेरिका में कैसा है, ये पैसा पिताजी का है, ये पहले से ही होता है, ये बेटे का है. तो 16 साल के बाद अगर कोई अमेरिकन लड़का घर पे रह रहा है तो उसको घर पे रेंट भरना पड़ता है. उसकी माँ बोलती है बाहर निकलो नहीं तो किराया भरो. तुम फुकट में नहीं रह सकते, ना ही मैं फुकट में कुकिंग करूंगी तुम्हारे लिए. अमेरिकन सोसाइटी बहुत विचित्र है. मैं जितना डील कर रहा हूँ लास्ट 2 साल में अमेरिकन से, बाप रे. और ऐसे लोग इतने अमेजिंग डिवोटी बने हैं, कैन इमेजिन. मतलब हमारा बैकग्राउंड तो बहुत शुद्ध है, स्पेशली यूपी में. कंपेयर टू ऑल अदर प्लेसेस, व्हेन आई कम टू यूपी, मींस माय एक्सपीरियंस इन साउथ इंडिया वाज, आई वाज प्रीचिंग इन अ कॉलेज वेयर देयर आर 60% नॉर्थ इंडियंस एंड 40% साउथ इंडियंस, एंड ज्यादा डिवोटीज नॉर्थ इंडियन ही बनते थे. सो लेटर व्हेन आई आस्क्ड गो टू कानपुर, आई सेड नाइस, मैं साउथ इंडिया में भी मैं नॉर्थ इंडियन को ही डिवोटी बना रहा हूँ. तो बाद में मुझे समझा मैं बना नहीं रहा हूँ डिवोटी, वो लोग ऑलरेडी डिवोशनल है. आई डोंट हैव दैट स्ट्रेंथ दैट हिप्पी को हम हैप्पी बनाएंगे जैसे प्रभुपाद बनाते थे. हम ऑलरेडी डिवोशनल लोग हैं, बस थोड़ा सा हम ब्रशअप कर रहे हैं. आप सबके घर में ऑलरेडी बहुत सारा बैकग्राउंड है. कोई हनुमान चालीसा पढ़ रहा है, कोई रामचरितमानस पढ़ रहा है, कोई बाके बिहारी के दर्शन हर महीने ले रहा है, कोई गोवर्धन परिक्रमा कर रहा है. बहुत कुछ है यहाँ पे. कथा और कीर्तन तो एकदम भर भर के पढ़ाई है गंगा और यमुना के तट पे. साउथ इंडिया इज नॉट लाइक दैट. इट बिकम्स लिटिल डिफिकल्ट टू मेक सच पीपल डिवोटीज. एंड ऐसे बैकग्राउंड से आए हुए लोग, अमेरिकन लोग, एंड सच वेल रिफाइंड, You cannot imagine. So they would leave generally their home. 14-16 साल के बाद माँ बोलती है अभी तुम तुम्हारा देख लो। जैसे मैंने पहले दिन वीडियो बताया, वो पक्षियों वाला, आप थे? वो कैसा पक्षी आता है बाहर, उसके पंख आ जाते हैं, फिर बाय बाय। अभी बाद में पक्षी एक दूसरे को देखते हैं, बस लिटरली जानवर के जैसा ही जीवन है वहां पे। तो उसका बस पंख आने तक की राह देखते हैं वो, और राह देखते हैं अरे कब निकल जाएगा। एक, पता नहीं यहाँ पे बोलूं कि नहीं, बताओ क्या। एक आए थे रिसेंटली, जो भक्त बनने का कोशिश कर रहे थे, चैंटिंग कर रहे थे 16 राउंड्स, न्यूयॉर्क से आए थे। तो उन्होंने कहा, अरे ब्रो आपने जॉब वॉब सब छोड़ दिया? बोले जॉब जॉब की उनको चिंता ही नहीं होती अमेरिकन को। वो उनके यहाँ पे पढ़ाई में भी गैप ले सकते हो। 1 साल कर दिया इंजीनियरिंग का, फिर 2-3 साल गैप, फिर सेकंड ईयर, फिर थर्ड ईयर, फिर कहीं तो घूमने चले जाएंगे विदेश, फिर आएंगे, फिर फाइनल ईयर, फिर देखेंगे जॉब करना है तो करेंगे, नहीं तो और कुछ करेंगे। बहुत कुछ है दुनिया में करने जैसा, बहुत अलग साइकोलॉजी है लोगों का। तो हमने बोला अरे प्रो आपका जॉब? बोले नहीं मैंने बिजनेस किया, बहुत कमाया, अभी मैंने ना ब्रेक लिया है। इंडिया में ऐसा कोई सोच नहीं सकता है बिजनेस में मैं ब्रेक लेना चाहता हूँ। वो एक दिन भी दुकान बंद करनी है तो 10 बार सोचता है, मेरे दुकान पे कौन बैठेगा आज। हम्म? ये लोग बहुत स्पेशल है। तो बोला फिर तुम यहाँ पे कैसे आ गए और बिजनेस क्यों करना पड़ा, माता पिता ने पाला नहीं पोसा है? बोले नहीं, मेरी माँ को एक नया बॉयफ्रेंड मिल गया, तो उसने बोला अभी तुम घर खाली करो, मैं मेरे बॉयफ्रेंड के साथ में रहना चाहती हूँ। पिताजी तो पहले ही छोड़ के चले गए थे, डिवोर्स हो गया था, माँ और बेटा रह रहे थे। और बेटा बड़ा हो गया जब 18 साल का, 16 साल का, तब माँ को एक नया बॉयफ्रेंड मिला। तो बोली घर में भी ज्यादा जगह नहीं है, तुम खाली करो। तो मैं घर खाली करना पड़ा और मुझे कुछ सर्वाइवल के लिए कुछ करना पड़ा, तो मैंने बिजनेस स्टार्ट किया, क्लिक हो गया, तो मैं मिलेनियर बन गया। तो मैं सोचा अभी मिलियन है, तो अभी थोड़ा सा भक्ति एक्सप्लोर करता हूँ। तो अभी मैंने ब्रेक लिया है जीवन में, तो अभी मैं हिमालय यहाँ वहाँ घूम के थोड़ा सा ढूंढ रहा हूँ। ऐसे बहुत सारे आते रहते हैं वहां से। तो वहाँ पे मतलब इंडिया में जैसा कल्चर है वैसा नहीं है। यहाँ पिताजी सपोर्ट करेंगे या बेटा पिताजी को सपोर्ट करेगा, आफ्टर सम टाइम आप आपके रास्ते, हम हमारे रास्ते। तो जब इस्कॉन ज्वाइन किया तो घर से पैसा लेके ज्वाइन नहीं किया, घर का पैसा तो पहले ही छोड़ दिया था। सॉरी अगर आपको शॉक दे दिया। तो अगर अमेरिका किसको जाना है तो थोड़ा सोच समझ के जाना, बहुत स्पेशल सोसाइटी है। अच्छा क्वेश्चन है, why we are not able to see our faults? Naturally we see faults in others. तो the main reason behind this is our impurities, our impure heart. To the degree we purify our heart, we will see only our faults and not see others' faults. Like if you see songs of acharyas like Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he says, "Amar जीवन सदा पापे रत, नाहि क पुण्येर लेश।" मेरा जीवन पाप से ही भरा हुआ है, पुण्य का एक लेश भी नहीं। ये कौन कह रहा है? भक्तिविनोद ठाकुर, जो हमारे ऑल्टर में जिनकी पूजा हो रही है। तो ही सीइंग ओनली हिज फॉल्ट, नॉट सीइंग अदर्स फॉल्ट्स, बिकॉज as you go on advancing in devotional service, you see your own impurities. And to the degree we are neophyte, to that degree we see others impurities. So there is kanishta adhikari, madhyam adhikari and uttam adhikari. Kanishta adhikari only sees God as good and does not see devotees as good, does not have faith in the devotees, does not have faith in the guru. And Madhyam Adhikari, when he advances, comes to Madhyam Adhikari, he has Prema, Maitri, Kripa, Upeksha. But when he becomes Uttam Adhikari, he sees everyone is a devotee in this creation except me. But then how are they doing all these bad activities if they are devotees? He sees even a smoker as a devotee. वो भी भक्त है, मैं ही भक्त नहीं हूँ. And how is, if he's a devotee, how is he smoking? He is acting like that to show me what I should not be doing. Just मेरे लिए वो इतना पेन ले रहा है, सिगरेट फूक रहा है ताकि मुझे बताने के लिए कि ये नहीं करना चाहिए. So as we advance, we will not see our faults. Does that answer your question, Shashi Prabhu? Okay. Yes, ma'am. ओके, आपका नाम? तो ललित ब्रो का क्वेश्चन है कि अगर Jayanand was so dedicated, he was always absorbed in serving, then why did he marry? What is the need for him to get married? He could have just continued serving like this. Hmm. So, interesting question. Very difficult to answer, but it seems there were some letters written by him to Prabhupada where he expressed that he was feeling a need of marriage. He was feeling that need. He was feeling that that will work better for him. तो जैसे दो लोग होते हैं, एकादशी को some people can do fasting without any eating, without any drinking. They can nicely chant whole day. There are some other people who cannot do fasting. They have to eat something, then only they can chant. Otherwise, if, with so much fasting, their body is not supporting. Even if they do Mangalarati, they will see Radha Mata's face as vada and samosa. सब वही दिखेगा, सब जगह पे वड़ा समोसा कचौरी वही दिख रहा है उनको. तो जब भी ले रहे हैं तो हरे कृष्णा बोले हलवा पूरी बोल रहे हैं. तो इतना अगर बुरी हालत है तो अच्छा है थोड़ा कुछ एकादशी का प्रसाद ले लो और जप करो. Two things, two based on our capacity. So we all come with a different psychological or sorry psychophysical nature from previous life. Past life से कुछ psychophysical nature हम लेके आते हैं. Because of which some people feel more comfortable in brahmacharya ashram and some people feel more comfortable in grahastha ashram. If those people who have psychophysical nature of being a grahastha, if they are staying in brahmacharya ashram, becomes tough for them. Like that devotee who is always seeing only samosa kachori around on the day of Ekadashi. But if they get situated in their ashram, then sadhana becomes better for them. So initially years he continued very nicely, but later he felt that if he's married, it will be better for him. He will be able to practice better because we all have our own different baggages from past. We don't know that. So, but despite of that, he was so much surrendered. That is what we should see. कि इतना सब बैगेज होने के बाद में भी इतना उन्होंने डेडिकेट किया है और मैरिज के बाद में भी करते रहे लाइक दैट. सो दैट इज इंस्पिरेशन वी शुड टेक दैट हमारा उतना सारा नहीं है तो हमने कितना सारा और करना चाहिए. द पर्सन हु हैड सो मच brake put in his vehicle still was driving with such great speed. We don't have so many brake applied. We should be able to do it much better like that. So there was some background because of which he felt like that. And there is nothing wrong in Grahastha ashram. It is more of a psychological, setting where one feels comfortable. Because ultimately one has to become free from sex life to go back to spiritual world. Whether it's Grahastha or Brahmachari, both. Both have to overcome that. But to overcome that, path may be different. That is one thing. And where do you feel comfortable? Some people feel very disturbed in a setting like this, where 10, 15, 20 devotees are always around you. Hmm. And nothing is clear where you will sleep tonight. कहाँ आपका मच्छरदानी लगेगा आपको पता नहीं है. कल क्या बनेगा प्रसाद में आपको पता नहीं है. Every so much uncertainty some people's natures cannot tolerate. They feel प्रभु थोड़ा stability लाओ लाइफ में. you know, एक वाइफ एक दो बच्चे एक 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 स्टेबल रूटीन चल रहा है and in the balanced way I can practice my bhakti better. That's fine. But he did not have any children, as far as I know, as far as I have heard. He did not have any children because the first wife whom he had married, she left him and went somewhere, went away, I think. She left devotional service or something happened. Then Prabhupada asked, he asked Prabhupada, should I marry again or what should I do? Prabhupada said, remain a brahmachari now. And then again he was single. So he was married only for a short time. And when his wife left, then again he continued to serve. And very soon, anyways, cancer came. Cancer came at a very early age. Okay, they don't marry. Okay, so when you're describing about Jayanand Prabhu, when he heard about this cancer, zero change in his mind. In general, I'm asking, how should we see our suffering? generally we get disturbed. Yeah. So his last question will answer and stop because we're actually crossing the time. I wanted to end early, but we are going over time again. So, as I told, we cannot imitate these great souls. Hmm? He was actually on that platform where he was uh, Brahmabhuta Prasannatma na shochati na kankshati sama sarveshu bhuteshu. Na shochati na kankshati, no lamentation, no hankering. So when something happens in our life, we will get disturbed. It's quite natural. Uh, and we are human beings. We have emotions. We may get affected, but then we should not let that disturbance disturb practices of our bhakti. Samjhe? We will get disturbed, but at least we should not so much get disturbed that our bhakti gets disturbed. Regular 16 rounds get disturbed. Morning program is getting disturbed. That should not happen. But we all are human. We will have emotions. Like Arjuna heard Bhagavad Gita, but later on, after hearing Bhagavad Gita during the battle when Abhimanyu died, Arjuna cried. It's quite natural, no? बेटा है मर गया है तो disturbance होने वाला है. But he did not let that disturbance affect his service to Krishna. He did not say अरे क्या है अभी जीवन में कुछ रखा ही नहीं है अभी मेरे बेटे के साथ मैं भी मर जाता हूँ या फिर मैं छोड़ देता हूँ ये युद्ध नहीं. He continued to fight. He continued to serve Krishna. So if we do like this, slowly we will come to that stage where we will not get disturbed by our own suffering. But ultimate goal of life is to become fully disturbed. So His Holiness Radhanasi Maharaj, he was answering this. One devotee asked question, Maharaj, after becoming devotee also I am getting disturbed. I am having anxiety, tension, pressure, frustration, so many things. So, but generally spiritual life means, what is our understanding? Undisturbed. Hmm? Undisturbed. तो महाराज बोले, yes, we in the beginning days we are disturbed by material things. Correct, no? Material things are disturbing us. अगर एग्जाम में फेल हो गया तो रोने लगता है जॉब में हाइक हो गया तो हंसने लगता है by material things we are getting very much disturbed. As you start practicing, the Mayavadi people, they want to become completely undisturbed by anything material. That is 0 0 stage. But he said that but when you start advancing further, then we should get disturbed by spiritual things. Like Mother Yashoda, she was always in anxiety. So material people are in anxiety for their own sense gratification. But Mother Yashoda, she was in anxiety for Krishna's gratification. And as you go further and further and further, devotees should be getting more and more disturbed to serve Krishna. समझ रहे हो? So दोनों में disturbance है लेकिन what is the center? Who is the center? I am center or Krishna is center? So in one sense, Arjuna cried because Abhimanyu was also a devotee. A devotee is dead. Not just my son, but he's a devotee and he was an instrument in Krishna's service. So his crying was Krishna centered. Mother Yashoda's anxiety was Krishna centered. Any devotee who is getting disturbed is generally his anxiety. Prabhupada's anger was Krishna centered. So eventually we should try to come to that stage where we do get disturbed, but the center is Guru and Krishna, not just our own happiness or suffering. I hope that answers your question. So we'll carry on. Yes, very nice question. Akash was asking. If we keep seeing faults in ourselves, then we may go into inferiority complex. We may get discouraged. We'll become hopeless. बाप रे fault ही fault है और कुछ नहीं है ना क्या फायदा है ना? Then what to do in such case? So that also we are going to discuss ahead. But just to answer you briefly, uh, In the previous times, the kings, they would maintain some people who will always glorify them. देखा आपने कभी कोई कॉमेडी फिल्म में या सीरियल में होता है, वो जब भी राजा आता है तो एक रहता है उसके आसपास, उसको ग्लोरीफाई करते रहते हैं। क्या चाल है आपकी, है ना? है ना? वाह वाह वाह, है ना? क्या भाषण है आपका, क्या डिसीजन लिया है आपने, बस हमेशा ग्लोरीफाई करेगा। और हमको क्या लगता है, ये बटरिंग कर रहा है, मक्खन लगा रहा है, करे ना, ये ऐसी। लेकिन ये साइकोलॉजिकल एक बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट रीजन था। वो राजा उसको सैलरी देता था ग्लोरीफाई करने की, कि उसने कुछ भी किया तो कुछ तो अच्छा अच्छा बोलते रहे। और राजा के ऊपर कविताएं लिखी जाती थी, पता है ना, उसके गुणगान गाए जाते थे कि ये देखो राजा ने क्या किया है, क्या नहीं किया है। क्योंकि क्या है ना, जब कोई मैनेजमेंट करता है तो इतना निगेटिविटी आता है, इतना निगेटिविटी आता है कि वो डिप्रेशन में चले जाता है। क्योंकि कुछ डिसीजन लिया, गलत हो गया तो लोग चिल्लाते हैं, राजा के कारण ऐसा हुआ, प्रसाद नहीं मना, ये राजा के कारण ऐसा हुआ, सिलेंडर खत्म हुआ, ये राजा के कारण ऐसा हुआ। कुछ भी हुआ तो कारण कौन है, राजा, मेन जो पर्सन है उसके वजह से हुआ। एक एक स्टेप पे उसको नेगेटिविटी फेस करना पड़ता है, 10 लोग उस पर गोलियां चलाते हैं, तो बहुत आसानी से वो डिप्रेशन में चले जाता है। उसको लगता है यार इससे तो अच्छा छोड़ के चले जाऊं। लेकिन अगर उसको कोई सिर्फ बटर ही नहीं, कुछ अच्छा, जेन्युइनली कुछ अच्छा बोल रहा है ना, तो उसको लगता है हाँ कुछ अच्छा भी हो रहा है, टू टू मेंटेन हिज एंथुसियाज्म, दैट इज आल्सो डन। तो उसको लगता है ठीक है, मे बी कुछ तो टेंजिबल अच्छा कर भी रहा हूँ। सारे लोग दुखी नहीं है मुझसे, कुछ लोग दुखी है, लेकिन बहुत सारे लोग सुखी भी है। दैट गिव्स हिम एनकरेजमेंट टू कंटिन्यू टू सर्व। So same way when the managers are getting depression, that is one of the reason we always have birthday appreciation ceremony. Time and again, every 2 3 months we have appreciation festival, and we also have this appreciation board in some voices where anything anyone sees good, they write it there. Also, we try to create a culture of appreciation so that at least somewhere or other the manager will hear कि हाँ कुछ तो अच्छा कर रहा हूँ। उसके जन्मदिन के दिन 10 लोग बोलेंगे प्रभु जी आपने बहुत अच्छा किया। अप्रिसिएशन बोर्ड पे कभी कुछ लिखेगा प्रभु जी आपका ये अच्छा हुआ। या फिर इफ द कल्चर इज ऑफ कल्चर ऑफ अप्रिसिएशन, प्रसाद के टाइम पे यहाँ वहाँ सम अप्रिसिएशन विल कीप हैपनिंग, एंड द सीनियर्स आल्सो व्हेनेवर दे विजिट दे आल्सो अप्रिशिएट हिम, दैट गिव्स हिम सोलेस, चलो कुछ तो हो रहा है, हमारी सेवा सार्थक हो रही है। सो if we are going too much into depression, then we can sit with some confidential devotee, maybe your counselor or someone, and tell him प्रभु जी क्या मैं कुछ अच्छा कर रहा हूँ क्या, बताइए। टेल मी सम गुड थिंग्स दैट आई एम डूइंग, आई डोंट वांट टू हियर कलेक्शंस टुडे। आज मुझे सिर्फ मेरी प्रशंसा करो। मैं सच में डिप्रेशन में चले गया हूँ, मैं सेवा छोड़ने वाला हूँ, इसके पहले मैं छोड़ के चले जाऊं, मुझे बताइए प्रभु जी 10 चीजें जो मैंने अच्छी की है आज तक इस वॉइस में। वो बताएंगे अरे प्रभु आप ही सब कुछ अच्छा कर रहे हैं, लेकिन मैं वो प्रभुपाद का और चाणक्य पंडित का प्रिंसिपल अप्लाई कर रहा था। लाड़येत बहवो दोषा ताड़येत बहवो गुणात् तस्मात् पुत्रम च शिष्यम च ताड़येत न तु लाड़ेत। आप बहुत अच्छे हो, लेकिन आपको और इम्प्रूव करने के लिए, क्योंकि बताया गया है कि गुरु ने और पिता ने सिर्फ चाबुक चलाना चाहिए तो अच्छे गुण आएंगे, सिर्फ ग्लोरीफाई किया तो बुरे गुण आएंगे, बहुत लाड़ प्यार किया तो बच्चा बिगड़ जाएगा। इसलिए लाड़ ये, सॉरी ताड़ ये न तू लाड़, इसलिए मैं हमेशा लड़ते रहता हूँ, इसलिए हमेशा चिल्लाते रहता हूँ आपके भलाई के लिए। लेकिन ऐसा मतलब ये नहीं है कि आप में कुछ अच्छा नहीं है, ऐसा है। तो टाइम टू टाइम ऐसा बैठना चाहिए ऐसे कुछ लोगों के साथ में जो आपको थोड़ा चढ़ाएंगे प्रभु आप, आर्टिफिशियली नहीं लेकिन जेन्युइनली। आप पूछ सकते हो, मुझे भी होता है ऐसा बहुत बार, कभी कभी मैं भी बहुत कभी कभी मैं भी बहुत डिप्रेशन में चले जाता हूँ ना, तो अरे यार इतने लोग गोलियां चला रहे हैं, हर कोई बोल रहा है प्रभु तुम्हारे वजह से ऐसा हुआ। तो नॉट अ गुड प्रैक्टिस, बट समटाइम्स आई डू दिस। मैं खोलता हूँ, जितने भी मुझे लोगों ने बर्थडे के दिन लेटर लिखे हैं, ग्रीटिंग कार्ड लिखे हैं, मेल्स भेजे हैं, व्हाट्सएप मैसेज भेजे, मैं थोड़ा सा उसका कलेक्शन रखता हूँ साइड में। कभी बहुत ज्यादा डिप्रेशन हो गया तो थोड़ा पढ़ लेता हूँ कि हाँ शायद ये अच्छा है, शायद ये अच्छा है, तो आई शुड नॉट क्विट। Just for us not to quit, sometimes we can take shelter of some objectively seeing good in us, but that should not enter our head. That is the main thing. But the negativity is entering our head, then we can take help of some. That's why appreciation is also very important. Hmm? We are not like Jayan and Guru that we run away like plague. ठीक है, कभी कभी रह जाओ, खड़े रह जाओ, सुन लो थोड़ा, आपको ही पता चलेगा कि सच में लोग खुश है कि नहीं है. So we need some approval. We all need some appreciation. We all need some positive feedback to sustain. Otherwise, depression will eat us up. I am very, very sorry for extending again today, but tomorrow we'll discuss the last part and hopefully the last class of this visit. Thank you so much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Samaveta Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Nitai Gaur Premanande. I really appreciate the tolerance and patience of all the online devotees. Without any uh, personal reciprocation, they are just able to attend it throughout. Huh? No one leaves this meeting. I'm amazed. 6:42. It is 8:20 now, but not attending patients. Thank you, Shashi Prabhu, for asking your question, and Shashi Prabhu is immediately applying the principle. He has written, Jai Ho Prabhu, I am super happy and grateful so that I don't go into depression. Huh? Motivational speaker. Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.